So first impressions in the SLS AMG Roadster, and it feels really luxurious. There's a lot of leather, a lot of carbon, but the dashboard is actually quite upright, which is surprising for a supercar. Look, if you can turn the camera around, and you can just see that it's not as slanted as some of the other supercars, such as the Lamborghinis and the Ferraris, but it's still got its fair share of carbon fibre with leather and the stitching. And then the 6.3 litre engine sits at the front. You can barely see the end of the nose, it's that long. But what does remind me that I'm still in a supercar is the fact that out the back it looks like you're looking for a letterbox. So to begin with, we're just going to do a little point of view video as we get started with the SLS. It's myself, James driving, got the GoPro, and we've got the camera in front. James will tell you how it drives, and I'm going to tell you what it feels like to be from a passenger, and also what it's like to see on the road as well, because that's also important with a supercar. You've got to make people's day.
You do have
from a pedestrian point of view and a third person point of view.
Very much so. I think the SLS isn't really up there with your Lambos and your Ferraris in terms of people pleasing.
Doesn't have as much road presence.
But it's a little bit more of a connoisseur. People recognise it. You know, the people in the know recognise it for what it is. So I'll give him a little bit of space, and so you can kind of see what kind of a bit of second gear is like. It's got a lot of initial, and it does go very quickly.
It's so fast.
It is. The other thing that you'll notice with this is that it's got the double clutch gearbox.
I didn't even feel the gear change.
Exactly.
But this is still a pure 6.3 litre.
Exactly.
They don't give a crap about petrol.
Completely. I mean,
how many miles to the gallon does this car do?
I think you're on a good run, you'd probably get about 18. But most of the time,
motorway driving.
Yeah, most of the time you're doing about 9
miles to the gallon.
It's good. You know, that's the kind of thing that I'd want if I bought a car like this. I want it to do good fuel. That's not the way that it works.
You don't buy a supercar to save fuel.
Oh my goodness! If you start really getting into,
if you do buy a supercar based on fuel, then you're not buying a supercar.
Then you're not buying a supercar. You're not buying a supercar.
Get a Prius.
Get a Prius. Do you know what? Every time I drive past a Prius, I always downshift.
There's a Prius here.
Whatever I'm driving.
Where's my video camera? Greenpeace,
we love you.
At least we're in the countryside.
We are in the countryside.
And it's green.
It is.
So
this car certainly is not green.
I feel like we're harbouring a boat when we're moving at slow speeds in this car.
No, you've really got to remember that the nose is way out there. And do you know what? It's very low to the ground. It really is. There's no lifting system on this. You do forget sometimes. And then
there's no lifting.
No lifter. You come into the car park and you think, wow, you know, I was pretty close there.
The nose just lifts up.
I mean, the SLS kind of falls, you know, a little bit in the crevice between a Grand Tourer and a hypercar, really, because, you know, it is essentially a 458, you know, Lamborghini 560 rival of this. It's the same kind of budget, it's the same kind of power, same kind of technology.
Well, actually, these cars are now, what, 95 grand on?
Well, you can get an SLS coupe now, yes, for under 100, which is a real bargain.
Yeah.
You know, it's a quick car. It's a really
bargain.
Fast car. So, you know, everybody understands that this isn't you know, a dulled down version of a supercar at all. The whole way through that tunnel run, I was flat, and the traction control light was flashing from the minute I put my foot down to the minute I stopped. From the minute that I started accelerating, the traction control.
So it just wants to go.
It just wants to give it. Yeah, it wants to go. It really.
Let's go. What sounds better, the SLS or the 458? I want to know what you think. Comment below.
I'm going to comment already.
Go on then. 458 or the SLS?
458.
458.
458.
I think personally the 458 sounds better.
They sound different.
Oh, they do sound. Yeah,
Different type of noise.
This is more muscly.
It is. It depends what type of car fan you are, really. At the end of the day, there are some
You-
real die-hards.
This is a proper
Mercedes fans.
gym junkie. This car.
Oh, it really is. This car's been. He's been to the gym.
Yeah, this has been to the gym. The 458 is 458 is an athlete. The SLS is a bodybuilder.
Yeah, the SLS is a beast.
It is a beast. Love the crackle.
Yeah, that's one of my favourite things about this. I always play with the crackle in this car.
Yeah.
Second gear is good. Second gear is good.
It's the fun we have at My First Supercar Premier Velocity. We find the best sounds.
We find the best sounds. That's my little task I do. Whenever we get new cars on the fleet, I have to drive them and find out where the noise is best in each car.
And we'd say second gear.
Second gear in this is good. Second gear up to about 4,000 and lift off. That's a good noise in this
Okay.
one. That's a good noise.
So if you've got an SLS or you'd like to buy one, second gear at 4,500 revs, and then you lift off.
Then lift off. And wait for the crackle.
Wait for the crackle.
There we go.
So how is it to drive? What would you say? What would you say its best aspects are to
I
drive?
think the best aspects of the SLS is that it provides a heightened experience between grand touring and supercar kind of insanity. It's got a mega engine that you can't floor, you really can't. 560 horsepower. It's got bags of torque, over 600 foot-pounds of torque, and a fantastic exhaust note. And that's everything that you need in a supercar.
From a driving perspective and an owner's perspective.
From a driving perspective, I like the way that it drives, but I'm not excited by the way that it drives. It doesn't make me.
Well, if it doesn't excite you, then it's not going to excite me.
exactly.
It's an understated supercar.
It is an understated supercar. That is probably the best thing that we can do. That's the best way we can wrap up in saying that that is what it's trying to be, and they've succeeded in doing that. I respect it for that reason.
Yeah.
And
It is a good car.
It is a good
fast car.
it's not slow either. Jesus, it's not slow at all. Not slow.
So the SLS AMG Roadster, done.